Sometimes a question arises in our mind that this world we are seeing, these rivers, mountains, sky, these people, are they all really real or just a deep imagination of our own mind? Has it ever happened that, despite being at the peak of worldly success, you felt a strange emptiness inside? If yes, then you are not alone. There was a time when Lord Sri Ram himself, the Prince of Ayodhya, who possessed all the wealth of the world, also went through this deep state of attachment and illusion. After returning from the pilgrimage, he felt the sorrow and transience of worldly pleasures very closely. His mind was filled with intense renunciation. In that deep state of renunciation, when the whole world began to feel like a burden to him, he asked his family guru, the supreme sage Vasishta, a question that has echoed in the minds of every seeker of truth for centuries. Guruji, what is this world? Where does it come from? And where does it go? After all, who am I? And what is all this that surrounds me? This question was not just that of a prince. It is the question of every person who wants to look beneath the surface of life, who is in search of truth. In response to this, the knowledge given by Maharishi Vashishtha became the foundation of the great scripture Yoga Vasistha. These answers were not only for Lord Ram. They are a light for all of us, showing the true purpose of life and the path to lasting peace of mind. Today, we will learn about the 7 deepest and most mysterious truths of the Yoga Vasistha, which can forever change your perspective on viewing this world. Let's dive into this amazing dialogue today and see how these mysteries can change our modern thinking. First answer. This world is an expansion of your mind. This world is purely mental. In response to Lord Rama's question, the sage Vashishtha revealed the first and most revolutionary truth. O Rama, this entire world, which you consider a solid reality outside of yourself, is nothing but your own mind. This is a vast, expansive, and vivid imagination of your own mind. There is a famous saying in Sanskrit, Mano matramidam jagat. It means, this world is made only and solely of the mind. Vashishtha Muni explains that just as a person in a dream creates an entire world from their own mind, including people, places, and events, and as long as they are dreaming, it all seems completely real to them. In the same way, this waking state world is also a long and more stable dream of our own mind. Imagine, a painter, before putting anything on the canvas, creates the entire picture in his mind. Its colors, forms, shapes, every detail is first born in imagination. The creation of the world is somewhat like this. But here is a wonderful thing. Here, the canvas is also the mind. The painter is also the mind. The colors are also the mind. And the viewer is also the mind. Vasishta ji says that whatever is visible is nothing but the waves of consciousness arising in the mind. When a desire or resolve arises in the mind, the picture of the world begins to emerge. When the mind becomes calm, silent, and desireless, the impression of the world gradually fades away, and only pure consciousness remains. So what does this mean for our lives? This knowledge teaches us that we are not slaves to external circumstances, but creators of our own experiences. If the world is a mirror of our mind, then to change our life, we need not fight the world, but change the thoughts and emotions of our mind. If there is a lake of peace and love in your mind, the world will seem just as peaceful and loving to you. If there is a storm of turmoil and anger in your mind, no matter how favorable the external circumstances may be, you will feel sorrow and struggle everywhere. Here arises another profound question. If this waking state is also a dream, then what is the true reality? To unravel this mystery, we must understand Vasishtaji's second remarkable answer, which takes us beyond waking and dreaming.
Second answer. There is no difference between the waking and dream states. The similarity between dream and waking. Maharshi Vashishtha, further dispelling Sri Ram's delusion, says,
O Raghava, just as things seen in a dream seem false upon waking, similarly, things experienced while awake hold no meaning in a dream.
They explain that at the level of experience, there is actually no fundamental difference between these two states. We generally consider the waking state to be real because it seems more stable, logical, and long-lasting, whereas a dream lasts only a few moments and is often random.
But Vasishta argues, the length or stability of time cannot be a measure of truth. For an ant, a few moments of life are as real as 100 years are for us. Truth is that which remains the same in the past, present, and future, which never changes. Yet, the world of the waking state is also changing every moment. It is as unstable as the world of dreams.
In the Yog Vasistha, there is a story. A king becomes a beggar in a dream and suffers the pain of hunger, poverty, and humiliation for years. When he suddenly wakes up, he is astonished to see that he is in his magnificent palace, and only a few moments of the night have passed. For him, that long and painful life of dreams and this brief moment of waking, both were equally real on the level of experience. This story teaches us that the basis of reality is our mental experience, not the external clock time. From this knowledge, we gain an important lesson. We should not become overly attached to or disturbed by the successes and failures of our waking life. Just as we do not get upset upon waking from a dream about finding treasure or suffering a loss, similarly, a wise person remains calm and steady amidst the joys and sorrows, honor and insult of waking life. He knows that all this is going to change. It is also a temporary play of the mind. You will be surprised to know that the state of deep sleep, which we consider the most restful, is not the ultimate truth, because in it we do not even realize our own existence. The truth is that which observes waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, witnesses all three states, yet is none of them itself. It is the same supreme consciousness, which is called Turiya, the fourth state of consciousness, beyond these three. But what is the path to know this supreme truth? And who is qualified to walk on this path? For this, one must understand Vasishtaji's third answer. Third answer. Who is eligible for liberation? The path of the seeker. Seeing Lord Rama's state filled with renunciation and his intense restlessness to know the truth, Maharshi Vashisht was extremely pleased. He said, O Rama, the sacred and intense desire awakened within you to be free from the sufferings of the world is called aspiration. And it is the first and most important step on the path of knowledge. According to Yog Vashisht, not everyone is ready for this supreme knowledge. It requires a special qualification called Mumukshutva, that is, a strong desire for liberation. Vasishtaji explains that the one qualified for knowledge is neither the one who is completely immersed in pleasures, nor the one who already considers himself wise. The true qualified person is the one who deeply experiences, I am bound, and I must be freed from this under all circumstances. To walk this path, the seeker must prepare with 4 great means, called Sadhana Chatushtaya. This is not an external ritual, but a process of inner transformation. The first means is discernment. That is, the ability to distinguish between what is eternal and what is transient. It is understanding that only the soul is eternal, while everything else, this body, this world, these relationships, keep changing and will one day be destroyed. When discernment is firm, the second means naturally manifests: detachment. This is the feeling of dispassion in the mind towards all the pleasures of this world and the hereafter. Sri Ram was in this state. Then comes the Shat Sampatti, that is, the 6 internal treasures. Shama, control over the mind. Dhamma, control over the senses. Uprati, detachment while following one's duty. Titiksha, equanimity in pleasure and pain. Shraddha, unwavering faith in the Guru and scriptures. And Samadhana, keeping the mind steady on the goal under all circumstances. And at the pinnacle of all these is Mumukshutva, that unshakable, deep, and ever-constant desire for liberation, like a person submerged in water, gasping for breath. Detachment does not mean leaving home and family, but rather giving up attachment in the mind. A king can be a renunciant even while living in a palace, and an ascetic can be attached to his hut. When a seeker comes to the Guru with these qualities, only then does he become worthy of receiving supreme knowledge. However, this play of the mind is not simple. What is the practical way to calm and purify it? The answer to this is the fourth answer. If the story of Lord Rama's renunciation and the teachings of Vasishtaji have touched your heart, please like this video and share it with those seekers who wish to walk the path of liberation. Who knows? This knowledge may ignite the lamp of renunciation and awakening within someone. To learn more about the divine secrets of Yog Vasisht and the unheard teachings of Vedanta, subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, and pay homage to the seeker within you by writing Jai Shri Ram in the comments. Fourth answer. The purification of the mind is the highest austerity. The purification of the mind is supreme penance. Maharishi Vashishtha says, O Raghu's son, even performing thousands of sacrifices, bathing in millions of pilgrimage sites, and giving countless donations does not bring that supreme peace which comes only from the purification of the mind. Chitta Shuddhi Param Tapa. Purifying the mind is the highest penance. This world binds us because our mind has become tainted with desires, cravings, anger, greed, and the impressions of memories. Just as a face is not clearly visible in a mirror covered with dust, similarly, the light of the soul does not reflect in an impure mind. Vashishtha mentions 2 main methods: practice and detachment. These are the 2 wings of a bird, without which flight is impossible. Detachment means seeing the faults in worldly objects and withdrawing the mind from them. And practice means the continuous effort to repeatedly stabilize the mind in self-reflection. Whenever the mind wanders outside, bringing it back to its center with love and understanding, without irritation, is practice. Sage Vashishtha says, controlling the mind is like taming a wild elephant. Just as a mahout uses both the goad and compassion, a seeker must tame the mind with the goad of detachment and the guidance of self-reflection. Another powerful method is satsang, the company of the wise. Just as the philosopher's stone transforms iron into gold, the company of the wise transforms the mind, making it pure and peaceful. Vashishtha says, Peace is not outside, it is within. We do not need to fight the world, but to conquer our own mind. He who conquers the mind conquers the whole world. However, when a seeker walks on this path, does he become wise in a single day? Or is there a gradual journey of knowledge as well? The answer to this comes in the fifth answer. Fifth answer. The 7 roles of knowledge. Sapta Gyan Bhumika. Maharishi Vashishtha says, self-knowledge is not a sudden leap, but a gradual journey. It is a practice with 7 steps that takes the practitioner from ignorance to supreme knowledge. The first stage, good intention. That moment when the practitioner thinks, how long will I remain trapped in the cycle of ignorance and suffering? I want to know the truth. The second stage, contemplation. Studying satsang and scriptures and reflecting on the knowledge heard. The third stage, tanumanasi. Here the mind becomes thin, subtle and calm. Interest in worldly subjects decreases and the mind turns inward. Fourth stage, attainment of purity. This is the first experience of self-realization. Here the practitioner experiences, I am not the body, I am pure consciousness. Fifth stage, detachment. Here the yogi becomes like a lotus leaf. Pleasure and pain, honor and dishonor do not affect him. Sixth stage, perception of substance. Here the yogi transcends external objects and experiences only Brahman in every particle. And the seventh state, Turiya. This is the pinnacle of knowledge, where the distinction between the individual soul and Brahman disappears, and the practitioner becomes established in natural bliss. When the practitioner reaches this final state, even the imagination of the world dissolves. And now the question arises, when everything has dissolved, what remains? The answer to this mystery is given by Vasishtaji in his 6th reply. Sixth answer, the integral relationship between Brahman and the universe. Delving into the depth of Sri Ram's question, Maharishi Vasishta now reveals the highest and most profound truth of Advaita Vedanta. He says, O Ram, from the perspective of ultimate reality, the truth is that this world has never actually come into existence. Whatever exists is only one unique, indivisible, eternal, conscious, and blissful Brahman. There is nothing else besides him. Vasishtaji gives many beautiful and profound examples to explain this. The first example is that of a rope and a snake. Just as in dense darkness, a person sees a rope and mistakes it for a snake, trembling with fear. But as soon as there is light, it becomes clear that there was never a snake there, only a rope. Similarly, in the darkness of ignorance, Brahman appears as the world with many names and forms. And when the light of knowledge shines, it is realized that there was never any object called the world. What was, what is, and what will be is only Brahman. The second example is gold and jewelry, like bangles, necklaces, rings. All these look different, but their truth is only one: gold. The difference in name and form is only practical. The truth is a single element. Similarly, this world with diverse forms is actually Brahman itself. The third example is the ocean and waves. Just as countless waves rise and fall in the vast ocean, is any wave separate from the ocean? No, they are all only water, a temporary form of water. Similarly, in this ocean-like Brahman, this world-like waves rise and disappear. But they are not different from Brahman. They are Brahman itself. Vasishta ji explains, Brahman is not the cause of this world, because wherever there is a distinction between cause and effect, there is duality. Here, there is no distinction between Brahman and the world. The world is merely an imagination superimposed on Brahman. And removing this imagination to realize the true, non-dual nature of Brahman is the supreme knowledge. This is the ultimate truth. All this is indeed Brahman. Everything that is visible and invisible is certainly Brahman. When the seeker becomes fully established in this truth, there is no other for him. Fear, sorrow, attachment, jealousy, all these exist as long as there is a sense of two. When only the one remains, then from whom is there fear, and to whom is there attachment? And now the question arises, what is the state of the one who realizes this supreme truth while still alive? Does he leave the world, or does he remain in the world yet stay liberated? This mystery is explained by Vasishta ji in his seventh answer. Seventh answer, the state of a liberated soul. Maharshi Vasishta explains to Sri Ram about that state, which is the highest fruit of this knowledge. Liberation while living, Jivanmukti. Jivanmukta means being completely free from all mental and emotional bonds while still residing in this body. Vasishtha says, O Ram, a liberated person performs all the worldly duties, but remains an actor from within. He laughs, speaks, eats, sleeps, and even manages affairs of the kingdom. But his consciousness always remains established in its peaceful, blissful, true self. He is like a skilled actor who plays the role of a king or a beggar on stage, but inwardly knows that he is neither king nor beggar. He is only a witness. It is difficult to recognize a liberated man from the outside, but some signs always remain within. His heart dwells in equanimity. He does not become ecstatic in happiness, nor does he break down in sorrow. Honor and insult, gain and loss, success and failure, all are the same to him. He acts with detachment. He does not desire the fruits of his actions, but performs his duty with a witness attitude. His mind is like a deep ocean. Waves may rise on the surface, but its depth remains unshaken. His behavior is natural, like the innocence of a child. He has no need to prove or show anything. And most importantly, he knows that all beings are forms of the one Brahman. Therefore, his heart holds boundless compassion and love for all living beings. Vasishta ji says, a liberated soul is like a lamp depicted in a picture. It gives the light of knowledge to the world, but it does not have the oil of actions, the wick of desires, nor does it flicker in the wind of circumstances. Even while living in the world, it remains beyond the world. His body functions according to past karma, and when the allotted karma is exhausted, he abandons the body, just as a dry leaf falls from a tree. Then he becomes free from the body, liberated from the final bond of the body, merging into his infinite Brahman form. This is liberation while living, the ultimate goal of human life, experiencing supreme bliss while alive. In response to a simple question from Lord Rama, what is this world? Sage Vashishtha revealed the deepest and most wonderful mysteries of consciousness. He explained that this world is a creation of our own mind. It is unstable and ever-changing, like a dream. The cause of bondage is the impurity of the mind, and the means of liberation is the purification of the mind through practice and detachment. He showed the path of the 7 steps of knowledge, which gradually lead the seeker to the supreme truth. And that supreme truth is, there is only one Brahman. This world is its illusory form. Knowing this truth and becoming free from all sorrows and bonds while alive is liberation in life, which is the highest goal of human life. This knowledge is not just philosophy, but the key to life transformation. It teaches that we are not victims of circumstances, but creators of our own experience. Peace and bliss are not outside, but within us, in our own pure consciousness. In today's noisy life, where every person is wandering outside in search of meaning and purpose, the knowledge of Yog Vashishtha inspires us to look within. It guides us to ask questions like Lord Rama and seek answers like Vashishtha. The mind itself is the world, and its peace is liberation. For one who knows oneself, the entire universe merges into a single truth. Detachment is not the renunciation of the outside, but the end of attachment within. If any one of these 7 answers from Yog Vashishtha has touched your heart, please be sure to write in the comments. Which answer touched you the most? And what change it brought to your thoughts or outlook on life? Your experience can illuminate the path for another seeker. Therefore, be sure to share this video with all those who are in search of self-knowledge and truth. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so that such divine mysteries of Sanatan Dharma, Upanishads, and Vedanta continue to reach you consistently. Like the video, share it, and write in the comments Jai Shri Ram, so that this sacred feeling remains awakened within you as well.